Thank you so much for listening. If you'd like to offer dana, then please do go to justthiszen.org/giving. Your support really does make a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Hello everyone. It's a delight to be here again, sharing with you. Thank you for being here to listen. Yeah, I'm really trying to be in a place of quiet in speaking with you tonight. As someone with a very busy mind, that can be quite a challenge. So I'm coming to the end of a 6-week offering, the sort of the pilot little program that we came up with for practicing single principles in our life. And I'm really grateful to everyone who's really supported me with that, and Josh's encouragement with offering this, and also Koan friends for seeding the talk in the first place. You know, I feel like it's borne like a lot of fruit. So I'm very appreciative to him. I might even write to him. But as being head student, I did want to offer something to the Sangha. And I wanted it to involve as many people as possible. So rather than do a group of sessions in the evening, I felt like I wanted to offer something different. And I feel like this has been, it's hit the spot for me. I feel like, you know, I found it really interesting, and people have seemed to have found it valuable to engage with, such that there's, you know, 40 people, which feels really heartening. 40 people doing this alongside me, alongside each other. And I'll be interested to hear feedback from anyone. You know, as we come to, this is our final principle that we've been working with. But my hope is to have a break and then do another run. So I'll be sending out an email about that and seeing if you want to opt in to that little group of principles to practice with. So it's felt, I have to say, felt like a real privilege to do this. Sort of each week coming up with the principle, and it's felt like it's been a creative experience for me, playing with the ideas, all of which support this cultivating a silent mind. And it's shifted, I think it has shifted my practice into a more reflective place, which I think has been really helpful for me, and away from doing so much task. So I'm really fascinated by this idea of cultivating the silent mind, because it really isn't what minds want to do. They are not silent things. You know, brains are designed and wired to think, and its capacity to make those connections is actually what makes us so successful. But it also is, what can be our downfall. And as somebody who's in my early life lived under the tyranny of my mind, it feels very different now that I know my mind doesn't have that total control that at one time it did. You know, minds are always up to something, and it did feel for me like it's almost like it had a mind of its own. And indeed it does, and it can still. But for me, the turn is in the noticing what it's doing and being able to work with that. So I've been reflecting on the idea of the silent mind. And it does feel quite impossible to achieve. But we can, I think Josh has chosen the title because it's about cultivating a silent mind. So we can still turn towards the process of cultivating that silence. And in a way, it feels like it fits very much with Zen and how we practice. And I was sort of likening it to beings are numberless. We vow to freedom. Equally impossible, if not more impossible. But this is our practice. And we practice because we believe that the intention of this vow, this practice, is valuable, not that we can achieve it. So I've been really trying to hold that with the silent mind idea, is that, yeah, I'm not going to achieve it, but I still can practice in cultivating it. And it is, as Flint says, we get better at what we practice. And if we practice thinking while we're sitting and being lost in busyness, that's what we get good at. So I've been really sitting with that. The Koan that Josh has chosen, as many of you know, associated with the cultivating the silent mind, you should know the one who is not busy. And this has been the basis of principle number 6 in the little program. I've been quite familiar with this koan for a number of years, but I think that this week I've noticed a deepening in my relationship with this koan. And I've been experimenting with noticing the difference between when I don't know the not busy part, reflecting on, well, what's the impact of that when I'm not in touch with the non-busy part? And what's the impact and the suffering that comes through that? And then also what the benefits are. So I was just going to share a little bit of some of the things that I've noticed in observing myself. So when I'm not aware of the part who is not busy, the busy part is dominating. And I'm not tuned into my surroundings. I'm focused on the task. And for me, efficiency is a big thing. So it's like doing the task efficiently. I think my perspective is quite narrow. And I realize in that sort of narrowness of perspective that I sort of miss out on the appreciation of the thing that I'm doing. And that it actually matters what I'm doing, no matter how simple the thing is, whether it be emptying the dishwasher. I can get really busy about it and just see it as a task. But if I can step away from that, I can actually feel and appreciate and value that the task in itself is valuable. And if I don't do that, it's like in not being present in it, I miss out on like the potential pleasure. Yeah, there is pleasure in taking out dishes from the dishwasher and feeling how lovely and clean they are and putting them into the cupboard. There's a pleasure in that, almost a joy. And if I'm stuck in the busyness, I don't get that joy, that pleasure. I think the other thing that's occurred to me is that when I'm in this narrow perspective, I think there's less of a chance of me seeing the broader perspective of something, and I potentially miss some learning. So I think that's really valuable to me, about one of the reasons why, what it can add. Something else that I think I'm aware of as well is that when I'm in a less mindful place, when I'm busy, I'm more likely to be reactive. I'm less able to pause and respond. And I'm following like my automatic patterns and my conditioning, rather than maybe noticing my patterns and working with them. So I'll just empty the dishwasher in exactly the same way I always empty it. Whereas when I'm present in the moment and I'm not caught in the busyness of completing the task, then actually I can do it differently. So I'm really aware that I lose opportunities if I'm stuck in that busyness of just following those normal automatic patterns. I'm also aware, and I don't know this has happened particularly this week, but I know that in extreme cases of busyness, I'm so focused on the next thing, and then the next thing and the next thing, that my mind is here. I'm not here in the task, and I can just get caught up in excessive multitasking. And my mind can end up feeling really flooded so that I can't actually think and I need to go and lie down. So I know that's what will happen to me in extreme situations. And so I think that when I get caught up in the busyness, is I'm less able to sort of put the brakes on and counterbalance, because I think there's a balance between the pushing forward of getting the task done and the staying mindful and noticing the part that isn't busy. And I think I'm more able to do that when I'm conscious of the part that is not busy. So I'm wondering, what you've noticed if you've been practicing with this principle. And I want to share with you something that has really touched me, is an insight that has been shared with me, and it came from Catherine in Sheffield. And she is a carer for her husband who's really very unwell. And this was her insight. She said, caring in a real sense can only come from the one who isn't busy. Otherwise, it's just doing things for somebody. She said, I think that when it comes from the latter, from the just doing things for somebody, then resentment can arise. And I found that very moving. And I was so appreciative that she shared that with me and it allowed me to share it with you. So what I'd like to do now is I'd actually like to share with you a short talk, part of a talk that Josh gave. I knew he'd given a talk about this because I remember sitting in the story, hearing him talk about this Koan, and it had really, come home to me, and it's been in my mind ever since. And so in November 2022, we were on a retreat and called the Awakening to the Koan of Your Life. And on day 3, he talks about this particular Koan, about you should know the one who is not busy. So I thought, what a fantastic thing to share. We've already got a talk, why make more words? So I'm going to share the middle 14 minutes of the talk.
Preparing the talks for this retreat has allowed me to wobble and then find my balance, and wobble and then find my balance. And the process is continuing today, when I feel at the moment a little bit wobbly because of the profound title of this retreat, the Koan of your life, the mystery of your life, the mystery of my life. And I've been living this talk and the talk on Thursday as I've prepared it. One of the statements from Suzuki Roshi in Zen Mind, Beginner's Mind, I keep returning to. And it's, in calmness, there should be activity, and in inactivity, there should be calmness. In calmness, there should be activity, and in activity, there should be calmness. And this has accompanied me for many years and continues to. And I realized that in my childhood, there wasn't a lot of, in my family, there wasn't a lot of calmness in activity. And in activity, there wasn't calmness. It's not always true, but certainly I think I carry a strand of that with me in my relationship to activity and time. And so I'm always trying to find that place between the through line, between calmness and activity. And I see it more as a kind of a woven thread. How could calmness exist in activity, and how could there be in activity calmness? And I'm someone who struggles with the difference between, or the continuum between process and product. I'm highly motivated to engage in process, but I'm also condemned sometimes to go for product. And so I'm somewhere often in that kind of place where I know this task is all there is right now, but I just want to complete it so I can get to the important stuff. And the important stuff in the last week or so has been creating the talks for this retreat. And so I've sometimes thought, well, I'll get the washing up done, and I'll put the rubbish out, and I'll feed the cat, and then I'll sit down to the important stuff of writing the talk. I'll have the books, and I will start to write it. And what I've found is this time, increasingly in my own process, that nothing comes when I sit down with an idea of writing a talk. And if it does come, it doesn't feel alive. It's like I'm putting it there because, okay, I've got that, and I've got halfway through, and by Tuesday I'll have the talk ready and I can relax. I can be calm then. But I'm not calm in the activity. And so I feel this kind of pull around time of privileging certain amounts of time over others. And it's really hard. It's really hard. My life is very full. It's true, it's very full. There's a lot to do. But I describe it as busy. How are you? I'm busy. But busy is extra. Busy is a comment, a commentary, a judgment. And it's also a complaint. I'm busy. And so it makes whatever task I'm doing one which I want to do to move on to the next thing. It isn't always so. I have moments of calmness and calmness in activity, and in activity calmness, but there's that pull always going on for me. And I think it's something around having an addiction to perfection. If I can give you the right talk and get it done by Tuesday, I'll be not tired by Thursday. Have a great talk. Everyone will be happy and enlightened. So, I've been intrigued recently. We've been watching a program called Portrait Artist of the Year, and I'm getting more and more interested in the process of art. And how quite often an artist will start a canvas and they'll create some colours and some ideas and some visions, and they kind of leave it there and they go back to it. And they go, I'll put a little bit there now, and I think the balance isn't quite right, and so on. And so I was thinking, well, I need to do something different here, because the koan that is inviting me is this one. Busy. What how long have you got to find some ease in the through line? So I read a piece by Karen Mazan Miller. It's called Do Dishes, Rake Leaves, The Wisdom of the Ancient Homemakers. And she says, in the fall, the broad canopy of giant sycamores in my backyard turns faintly yellow and the leaves sail down, first by ones and then by tons. A part of every autumn day finds me fuming at the sight of falling leaves. Then I pick up a rake. Tell me, while I'm sweeping leaves till kingdom come, is it getting in the way of my life? Is it interfering with my life? Keeping me from my life? Only my imaginary life, the life of what is and how comes, the life I'm dreaming of. At the moment that I'm raking leaves, at the moment I'm doing anything, it is my life. It is all of time, and it is all of me. The moment that we're looking after an aged parent, or changing a nappy, or putting the rubbish out, or cleaning the floor, is all of time and all of me, every precious moment. Suzuki Roshi wrote a lovely piece which I'm going to read to you called The Constant Way. He said, it is necessary for us to keep the constant way. Zen is not some kind of excitement, but concentration on our usual everyday routine. If you become too busy and too excited, your mind becomes rough and ragged. This is not good. If possible, try to be always calm and joyful and keep yourself from excitement. That's the third line I'd like you to kind of keep in mind for later in the talk. Try to be always calm and joyful and keep yourself from excitement. Usually we become busier and busier day by day, year by year, especially in our modern world. If we become interested in some excitement or in our own change, we will become completely involved in our busy life and we will be lost. But if your mind is calm and constant, you can keep yourself away from the noisy world even when you are in the midst of it. In the midst of noise and change, your mind will be quiet and stable. So, the koan that I have been living with for many years, which relates to inactivity there should be calmness, is case 21 of the Book of Serenity. Yunyan sweeps the ground. I'm just going to read the first bit of it because it's enough for this morning. As Yunyan was sweeping the ground, Dawu said, "Too busy." Yunyan replied, "You should know there's one who isn't busy." So within my busy life, that I talk of as busy, I've been intrigued. You should know there's one who isn't busy. The other day, I came on an adaptation of this by a teacher called Bu Om. Wow, this really has opened something for me with this koan. One day a teacher seeing a monastic who was engaged in managing the temple, said, "How are you getting along these days?" The monastic answered, "I am as busy as a bee." Then the master said, "You should know there is one who is not busy with you all the time." If you have a sense of busyness in your life, how does that feel? You should know that there is one who is not busy with you all the time. And when I think of busyness, I don't think of just activity, our minds. There is one who is not busy with you all the time. The student says, "Who is the one that is not busy?" The teacher said, "He was not born from a woman." The student said, "Where is he?" The teacher said, "Where is he?" The student said, "I asked where he is." "Why do you ask me back where he is instead of answering my question?" The teacher said, "Why don't you understand my answer while you answer my question perfectly?" And then he said, "You are looking for an ox while riding it. Stop looking for the ox you are looking for and bring forth the ox you are riding." And I've adapted this. You are looking for a Dharma talk while writing it. Stop looking for the Dharma talk you are looking for and bring forth the Dharma talk you are writing. And this is for all of us. You are looking for a life while living it. Stop looking for the life you are looking for and bring forth the life you are living. You are looking for a life while living it. Stop looking for the life you are looking for and bring forth the life you are living.
Thank you, Trudy. Yeah, thank you, Josh, for that talk. It's such a rich and alive talk, and it feeds perfectly into this principle and the retreat that we have on Saturday. And I love the joyous ending. It feels like there's such an appreciation of that translation of the teaching about the ox to everyday life. I think that's very precious. It's about making the teachings relevant. That's what makes a difference to us, when we can make it relevant to our lives. So it's now time to go into breakout rooms, and you may want to share a number of things. There might be something moving through you in response to the talk. There's so much in it. But also, I'm wondering whether you might want to share in your small groups what you've noticed about as you've been practicing with this principle this week, and as you've been experimenting, and what have you noticed is your suffering, and also what are the benefits, what are the opportunities of noticing your not busy part. So thank you for listening to me this evening. Thank you for giving me the time. And now Lynn is going to open the breakout rooms. Thank you, Lynn.